In this first look video from InfluenceWP, we are checking out a WordPress plugin called Core Forms. This is a premium form plugin that gives you all of the features in the plugin. So there's no need to go and get individual add-ons. It's all within the same box, so to speak. Before we poke around the website here a bit for Core Forms and look at the solution together for the first time, just a quick bit of housekeeping. First look videos cover products we have no prior experience with. They show vendors how new users experience their product and website for the very first time. These videos are unedited, high-level introductions that are not paid for, they're not sponsored, and they contain no affiliate links. If you would like videos like this created for your business, go over to InfluenceWP.com and sign up for your partner membership. And we thank Core Forms for being a partner. If you like what you see in this video, go over to our website and grab the exclusive offer. I'll also say that outside of the partner memberships, you can request a public or private video review of your solution, and which also includes a quick review of your website by going to influencewp.com and looking for the services listed on that site. Okay. All right. So the website we're looking at today is core-forms.com, or if you'd like to say core-forms.com. What we're going to do is rattle off all of the features of this plugin so we make sure we don't miss any when we go to look at the actual solution. And we're going to look for some key trust pages like a changelog, documentation, and an about page. Then we'll look at the actual solution together. Again, like I said, for the very first time, you'll see me fire it up and we'll see what's what. Okay, so right off the bat, I am seeing a link in the header and the navigation for features. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. I'm going to rattle off all of these features. I don't want to read the internet, so I will dive into each one if need be to further elaborate. Otherwise, you guys can go to the website and read it yourself. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Write in HTML or build your forms visually. 18 accessible starter templates. Ajax submission, so no page reloads. Gutenberg block and shortcode support. Full screen form, so if you like that type form style, if you've ever seen that. Conditional fields and actions. Data variables. File uploads. Spam protection stack, so there's all kinds of different spam protection available. Rate limiting and submission caps, so you can protect your website from bots constantly hammering your forms, or you can also limit how many times that a person can submit a form. There's also a submissions inbox. So any of the submissions that come in, you're going to get a nice inbox to be able to see all of those submissions and reply, obviously view, reply, and other things. There's a CSV export function and email logs. So you can see all of the email correspondence flying around. Save and resume drafts, so someone can start a form, go have coffee, come back later, fill out the form. So that's super cool. Emails and autoresponders, webhooks and REST API support, take payments, Fluent Cart hosted checkout, so you can hand a form off from Core Forms to Fluent Cart. There's MailChimp, MailerPress, Fluent CRM, and 25 other integrations. Headless and REST submission support. So you can render and submit forms from Astro, Next.js, or any other non-WordPress based site. Form scheduling, built-in polls, and WCAG 2.2 accessibility. So that is super cool. Each starter template ships with WCAG. I always have a hard time saying that. I'm going to keep having a hard time saying WCAG accessibility. So each starter template, again, has accessibility built in. Okay. All right. Those are the features. I now want to look for a changelog, which I also see that up here. So I'm going to click on that. Here we see release dates along with the version, and then obviously what's changed. So this changelog is beautiful. There is tons of activity on this. I've been following this for a while, so I know it's very active. So that is awesome. I also see a docs link up here. So this actually redirects us to a different site. This is I'm sorry if I butcher the name, Gaurav Tawari. So I apologize. I probably completely butchered that. This actually takes care of his about page too. He doesn't actually have an about page on the Core Forms website, but this will get you there. There's actually an about tab up here. But this is really cool. This is the documentation. It's actually in the form of a course, which is really cool, but you can jump down here into individual modules and read about the settings and whatnot. And then again, before we leave here, there's an about tab where you can read all about this partner. Very active, very responsive. If you're, communication, very generous, doing a lot of really, really amazing things in WordPress. Okay. All right. So that is that. He checks all the boxes. Every trust page that I would be looking for as a customer, he checks all of those boxes. Another one you could possibly consider a trust page is a roadmap. So you guys can go check that out. But let's go ahead and let's get started. I have nothing but core forms installed and activated. I have not looked at anything else. What I do notice right off the bat, as I said earlier when we were talking about the features, there's polling built in. So I do see a menu item that's kind of floating out here for polls. So just keep that in mind. I'm also seeing this core forms menu here. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on that main menu item. And in here, I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this. Let's get rid of that. There we go. Okay. So this is actually what you will see here. There was full transparency. I was tinkering around just with the templates the other day before, forever, thinking about recording this. That form was just there. But other than that, I have not done anything other than click add new form and drop that template in there because I just wanted to see how the templates looked. So again, first look video, 99% accurate. Okay, so where do we start first? Maybe we go look at the settings first. So we can get to the settings. Let's go back where we were. From that main screen, there's a settings button up here in the top right. There's also settings here from the submenu. Okay, what do we have here? So we have just general settings. Again, high level overview. I don't want to get too far into the weeds. We don't need to get into all the specifics. Just know that you can, you've got these general settings here. You've got some Google reCAPTCHA. If you use email, there's a section for that. If you use WhatsApp, there's stuff for that. Spam protection. Again, there's multiple layers of spam protection that you can have. Here is a section for the payment methods. What's cool here is you can toggle between live and test mode. That's really neat. Headless and REST settings, reply settings, so default sender email and such. Cloudflare turnstile, which is what I would personally recommend for spam protection. You have a nice convenient link here that's going to drop you in your Cloudflare account if you have one, or you can set one up. It's totally free to do that. And then you can easily grab your site key and secret key and punch those in. Over on the right-hand side, we've got a form theme customizer. This is interesting. What a contrast check. Customize the color, spacing, and corners of the built-in form theme. So it's got a built-in form theme. The live preview flags any combination that fails WCAG. Told you I struggle with that. WCAG 2.0 contrast. So that's cool. So it's showing that we're passing the contrast check based on the default theme settings. So we could test this out. If I change this text color to white or near white, it's probably going to fail. There we go. So there's the fail. That is a really cool thing there. All right, let's go ahead and just put this back to dark. But obviously you've got all these other options, spacing, padding, and such. Cool. So that's the settings. Nothing too overwhelming here. Powerful, yet simple, easy to understand. So that is really cool. If we had forms that had submission, that's where we go for this. Okay, pretty self-explanatory. We've got the settings. We've got a dedicated spam tab. So if we had any submissions that were caught with spam, we could view those here. If we had any forms, we would view those here. Over on the left-hand side here, we've got email logs. Once the email starts flowing, we've got an import option. So you can import forms from contact form 7. And then you've got some other options coming soon. All right, let's go add a form. So again, this is what I previously did like a while back. I just dropped in a newsletter sign up form and I wanted to quickly look at it. Yeah, so this is essentially looking at this for the first time. Again, it's been a while. Blank form, you can start from scratch and build. Let's choose a different form this time. Let's just go contact form, super common form. Use this template. So it gives us all of these fields, which is nice. We've got a preview over here on the right-hand side. There's also a preview button here. Okay, that's cool. So templates link here. Okay, so if we want to come back over here and do a different template, we can. Obviously, we can drag around the fields, rearrange those. Clicking on the field, you've got the various options, the labels, validation. You can add conditions, actions, show if, hide if, and then the various rules. You can add multiple conditions. You can add CSS. You can add helper text. And then obviously each field that you click on is going to give you different options. All right, super cool. Pretty self-explanatory. If you've ever used a contact form, this is going to be self-explanatory. We start in the visual tab. You can switch over to the code tab, and see the actual underlying code. That's cool. Let's go to the messages tab. So here, what happens on submission, you define that text. Expanding other messages, you've got other types of messages that you can define. Let's go ahead and move over to the settings of this particular form. Okay, so what you have here is basically like different, I'm going to call them accordions that you can click through and do the settings. I would probably, just a bit of feedback, I would probably default to just this one being open, or maybe even none, but I think one open would be good. It might be confusing to some to know that, whether you can click on these and expand them. Just a bit of feedback. So display mode is currently normal. You can switch over to that full screen type form that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. Under submissions, you've got different options. Save submissions, prevent duplicates, rate limit. After submission, what happens? Show a message, hide the form, etc. Anti-spam, there's a honeypot field that's enabled by default. It doesn't hurt anything. You might as well keep that active. Save and resume. Do you want to allow people to save their progress as a draft? When do you want to expire those drafts? Do you want to schedule your form? Dates, times, and so on. Appearance, behavior. What does the submit button look like? What does the loading text look like? Do you want your submissions to be Ajaxed? Again, instead of that full page reload, you can use that Ajax. Extra CSS classes. Under advanced, what theme do you want to use? Do you want to use that default theme that we looked at a bit ago with that contrast checker? Or do you want to skip it altogether? What do you want to do there? Do you want to add your own custom CSS, custom JavaScript? Under add-ons, I don't love the name of this just because, as we said at the beginning of the video, everything is self-contained. Like there's no separate pieces you need to go out and get. Every feature is included in the plugin. So I don't love the name add-ons. It almost made me think I was going to have to go out and get extra stuff. So under this, we've got enable submission notifications, submission limits, require users to be logged on. Under actions, you've got tons of actions you can do. Send an email, autoresponder, send a Slack, send a Discord, send a Telegram. And I like how these are broken down into sections. So that's the notifications. Here you've got messaging and SMS, various WhatsApp options, Twilio, send SMS. Under data, Google Sheets, add to Notion, add to Airtable, marketing and CRM, ConvertKit, ActiveCampaign, Brevo, Drip, etc. Automation, a trigger webhook, send to Zapier, or send to make. WordPress actions, create a WordPress user, create WordPress post, create an article custom post type, CPT, and then expanding variables. You've got all of these different variables that you can use. Super cool, super powerful stuff. Let's just add one of these and see what's what. Let's do create WordPress user. How about that? Actually, let's create a post. So we click on that. It gives us a whole new set of settings here. What's the post type? What's the post status? What's the title? The title field. Oh, here you can, okay, title, you can use the variables. Here you can just give the name of the field, I guess. It's interesting. Content field to use as post content. Leave empty to store all fields as content. And then you can do custom fields. And you can also add conditions. I'm going to go ahead and remove this action. Let's look at one more. Let's go send email. Who's it from? Who's it to? What's the subject? What's the message? Again, you've got variables to use. What's the content type? HTML, is it plain text? Do you want to add any additional headers? Are there conditions? Under payment, do you want to require payment? What is the gateway that you're going to use? Under pricing, what's the pricing? What's the currency? Give a description of the form. What happens after the payment? Do you want to do a redirect, a URL redirect? If you're using headless, you've got all kinds of options in here. I am not familiar with headless personally, but if you are, this will be familiar to you, and you've got all of these different settings in here. Under submissions, when those are submitted, these will be for the specific form, not globally, and you can export as a CSV. For analytics, we can see there's a funnel section, form impressions, views, how many forms have been started, how many have been submitted, how many are spam, daily activity, views, starts, submission, field interactions, how many people focused or filled each field. It's hard to say. A big gap to the next field hits are where users drop off. That's super, super smart. So let's say they're filling out the form, they get to a particular field, they easily fill that out and they move on to the next, and then and if you see a pattern of people dropping off of that particular field, you know you've got a particular, maybe you're asking too much, maybe there's an error, something's wrong and you need to address it. Top sources, where are the submissions coming from? You can set up UTM parameters. That is really, really cool. And then there's a recommendations box down here, which is interesting. No recommendations now, but I assume once this data is coming in, that's when this would populate. Under revisions, every save creates a snapshot, markup, settings, message overrides. Restore brings them back from the exact state. WordPress's native revision difference view shows the differences fully side by side. So that's going to be your form revisions. Up here in the top, we can change the name. That's more of like, looks like more like the slug of that form. And then here we can click to copy our shortcode and drop anywhere on a page. Let's go ahead and do that. So let's go over to pages. Do I have a form here? Contact. Let's edit this contact page. Let's do a new page. Let's do core. Let's call it core forms. Let's do the shortcode block. Paste in our shortcode. Publish. View page. There we go. So that is our form. Very, very cool. Let me see here. We're using the default 2025 theme. Just wanted to point that out. So yeah, it looks great. All right, let's go back to core forms. Let's go to our form. Now you could, let's click add field here. I want to see all the available fields. You got a bunch of basic fields, choice fields, advanced fields, composite, structure. Oh, okay, this is what I was looking for. And then you've got the layout. I was looking for the structure because I was thinking, when you look at this on the front end, like what if you wanted to adjust how that looks? So maybe you could drop in a container here. With that container dropped in, so maybe we want Let's do like subject. Let's play around here. Let's go, and then I'll get you guys out of here. Let's go subject at the top. Let's go. Can I drag that in there? There we go. So we can drag our field in there. Let's drag. So let's do name and email address in this container. Now with that container selected, can I adjust this? No. Um, hmm. I thought that was going to allow me to adjust like how many fields. Like I was trying, the idea was like, can I put these fields side by side? So I thought maybe you could define that, like 50-50 split, but I'm not seeing that in here. Now you could always jump into the code and do it that way, but I think it needs to be handled visually. So I'm gonna go ahead and just refresh this. Let's go back to add forms. Let's try field set. Yeah, I am not quite sure. It's probably just me, guys. I'm not super familiar with um, what this is doing. I also feel like, okay, so that's structure. Maybe I'm reading this wrong. Because I would think that layout is what controls the width and stuff of some of this. Yeah, so I think that would be my only, I don't know if you call it criticism or more of a feature request. I feel like there needs to be, I apologize if it's something I'm just missing and it's blatantly obvious, but I feel like there's got to be a way to make these, again, you can do a CSS and code, but visually a way to make these, to restructure the fields, like the layout. What if I want 2 fields side by side, or I want 3 side by side, being able to define that width. And I'm not quite sure what these actually mean. I mean, I know what a container is and a field set is, but I'm not quite sure what these do for your forms. Maybe I'm guessing it's a way, like if you want to apply conditions to the group of fields rather than just individually on a per field basis, that would make sense. Maybe that's what it is. That's probably what it is. And same with container. Maybe you want to style that container with some CSS a certain way. So we put a label, my container. We could put a class on this, my container. Put a condition on here. So I guess that's the only thing I'm looking for. Otherwise, this is beautiful, super easy to use, extremely powerful. It's just the ability to define the layout. Let's go over to, let's hypothetically say we want to change this. Let's go back to the contact form. Can we change the template? Templates, let's do support request. Okay, so you can change it right on the fly. And there we go. So then you can change the name. Okay, that's cool. I really wanted to see if one of these templates had the ability to see some things side by side. Let's go event ticket. No. Let's try this. How about, let's go to settings. Let's do that type form. I've already forgotten where that is. Can you do that on a per form basis? Display mode. There we go. Oh, I'm glad we did this. So then you can do dark mode if you want. We'll keep it light animation. So there's light mode, dark mode, gradient blue, purple, green, animation style. Show progress bar. You can do an external CSS file for the styling, external JavaScript files. That's cool. All right, let's save this and look at it, and then I'll get you guys out of here. So this is before. Here we go. So this is your type form. Very, very cool. This is beautiful. Let's check out that dark mode, and then I for real will get you guys out of here. Let's go settings. I want to see what this looks like. Dark mode. Oh man, this is so cool. All right, guys, very well done. Very well done. And I apologize again if I butchered your name. Let's have a chat sometime, and I'll get your name pronunciation right. We've chatted before as partners, but over text, not voice. So anyway, grateful, super grateful for Core Forums being a partner, and this is I love the approach here. How there's, as it says here, no add-on tags. Everything is just self-contained in the plugin. Extremely powerful. If you like, again, if you like what you see in this video, influencewp.com/deals, grab the exclusive offer for Core Forums. And thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.